Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Southern Gunner Bait Runner Club Insight videos. I'm Captain Ezra again, so welcome back. I had some ideas about a video on pocket knives. So everyone seems to carry pocket knives. They're all over the market. There's tons of knives, big companies, custom knives, all this kind of stuff. And so apparently if you look online, there's videos for all sorts of knives. I wanted to kind of bring up the insight on why we carry knives and what to look for in a knife and how to pick a knife, really. Not so much a, hey, this knife's better than the other knives. That's like art, it's subjective. A knife to me is a tool. That's how I grew up. I was given a pocket knife from an early age, and it was a tool. It wasn't a weapon. It wasn't a status thing or whatever. It was a tool. So what's one of the number one things when you pick a tool out? It's what's it used for? How does it work for you? Again, there's 1,000,001 knives on the market. Some of them are cool to some people, groups, and all that. And so we tend to get a little caught up in, hey, this is a cool knife and this person carries this and this looks pretty neat and all that stuff. But how functional is it? And the thing with that as well is you're carrying it, so how comfortable are you with it? Different handles, different, blade setups, even the clip, for putting in your pocket, where it's positioned and all that. What makes a tool functional and really useful is how it operates in the hands of the user. So keep that in mind. When you're shopping for knives, what pocket do you want to keep it in? How do you handle it? How do you want to manipulate it, meaning handle it, pull it out, open it, close it? Because you want to be comfortable with it. That's what's going to keep you safe from stabbing yourself, cutting yourself, possibly others, and all that stuff. A great example of this was when I was in the outdoor industry selling boots. This was back in the mid-90s, late 90s, early 2000s. Vask had a boot called the Sundowner, right? Full leather boot, Gore-Tex, great boot. I love those boots aesthetically. Always wanted a pair. I tried so many times to fit myself in those. Even had, coworkers try to fit me in them. But I couldn't get that boot fitted properly. It didn't work for me in my foot. But I fought it so bad and I wanted to get a pair. And bought some. Awful fit. Blisters, it was a nightmare. I had to go with another boot. I had to pick what was best for me, not what was what was best for the grand idea of, hey, I want to fit in like everybody else. So that's a good way to look at this knife thing. So how do you want to use a knife? What works for you? What feels good in your hand? And go with that. Don't pick something because it's the latest, greatest thing you saw online and all that stuff. To give you an example, the knife that I carry, and again, this isn't like, hey, be like me and carry this knife. I just want to use an example of why I chose it, what works for me, to kind of give you something to point out. So, Spyderco. This is what I've been carrying for a long time. It's a great knife. The reason I chose these knives, and again, wasn't because something I read or someone told me Spyderco is really cool. It was this. And the way this clip is set up. I'm right-handed. I keep it in my right pocket. It's so comfortable for me, naturally, to pull this out, because of course it's going to be in your pocket like this, right pocket. To pull it out, thumb in that hole, open, use. Unlock, I can push this in, use my leg or whatever to close that, goes right back in the pocket. So I'm accustomed to this. It worked for me naturally. I didn't have to try. I lost an old one and had to get another one because, we guys carry pocket knives, like my uncle used to say. Someone said, hey man, you got a pocket knife on you? I got my britches on, don't I? Well, there you go. Anyway, I ended up getting I think it was a buck knife. It was a good knife, but the clip was reversed and it was here. So I had to start all over again, and I could not get it in my head and hand mechanics to pull that thing out without just dropping it and making a mess. So I had to go back to this. And again, I'm not telling you to go buy this. I'm just using it as an example of why I chose this. It's just kind of works for me. But that's why I chose those. Had several of them, love them, works for me. Again, not telling you to go buy a Spyderco. But when you're shopping for knives, and even fillet knives, another good example, the years I charter fished, you know, you're always, and when I was a culinary major, you're taught to use the Dexter Russell plastic white stainless steel knives with the grip and all that stuff. They don't work so well in the real world of filleting hundreds of pounds of fish a day. I tried that. I had to go to a different handle that worked for me, that was for the job. The Bubba Blade knives, and I'm using that as an example because it's the only brand I'm aware of and I know that has that really articulated handle that, to me, I can't, it doesn't work for me. So no matter how hard I tried to use it, I needed something that worked for me in that real world experience, so I can't use a Bubba Blade knife. But, you know, again, not telling you to go buy Bubbas or not to buy Bubba Blades, but just focus on what works for you, not what's latest and greatest. Do that. That's what makes you safer and more efficient, and you get the job done better. When you use the better tools, the proper tools for your hands, your body mechanics, and how, you know, how you operate something. So yeah, think about that in the future when you're buying knives. Knives are good. Knives are tools. Yeah, so that's it, guys. Thanks again for stopping by. I hope this was somewhat helpful. You know, again, I'm just trying to give some insight, not necessarily buy this or buy that, but good ways to think about things when you're out there outfitting yourself and, you know, or getting something new or replacing stuff. So anyway, thanks again for stopping by. Hope this was helpful, and we'll see you later.